In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 most common mistakes that I see creative entrepreneurs and creative agencies and even freelancers making when it comes to pricing their services. My name is Vince. If you are new to this channel, I talk about video editing, content creation, and how to monetize these skill sets of yours and build a successful creative business. So if you're interested in more of that stuff, then, consider checking out other videos on the channel. But anyways, without any further ado, let's get into mistake number 1 that creative agency owners and creative entrepreneurs make when it comes to pricing their services. Mistake number 1 is charging by the hour. I think there is a time and place for charging by the hour, but if you're trying to build an actual successful business, charging by the hour rarely works well. And the reason for that is because of a couple things, right? Number 1, it actually punishes you for being efficient. So basically with hourly billing, what you're saying is like, the shorter the amount of time it takes for you to finish the project, the less amount of money you will get paid, right? So the client, by saying that they want to have an hourly billing, they say that they value the same project taking longer than it taking shorter, because again, you are rewarded more for the same thing taking longer instead of shorter. So it actually punishes you for being an efficient video editor, content creator, or whatever it is that you do. You also limit your income, right? Like if you're a freelancer and you charge by the hour, you can only sell so many hours of your time every single day. And sure, you can keep increasing that hourly rate or whatever, but you are not going to really build something that is actually remarkable most of the time. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some really amazing designers or editors that charge by the hour and make really good money, but in my opinion and from my experience, if you don't charge by the hour, but charge based on value and do like project-based pricing or have a monthly retainer, it's going to be much easier for you to progress and start making more and more money with your creative business. Mistake number 2 that I see a lot of people doing is just adding on a bunch of extra services for some extra money for every client. Now, I know that this might sound counterintuitive, right? Like, why wouldn't I want to add some extra services if I can make more money from that client? And yes, sometimes that can work, but the thing is, most of the time when you have a client, let's say for a content creation monthly retainer, right? And they want you to do also the posting, they want you to do like just a bunch of other unrelated tasks as well, like managing the comments and whatever. Usually you can only charge like marginally more for those extra add-ons. Like maybe you can add a couple hundred extra bucks per month for doing those other, services as well on top, or running their ads or whatever it is. But you are adding a lot of operational drag and organizational drag as well if you are running a small team by adding those extra services. So I'm personally a big fan of running your business as lean as possible. So like you want to have a very simple setup, ideally, where you have, mainly one niche and one key service that you sell. And that's the only way you can really like streamline your operation excellently. So if you onboard a new client, it doesn't add a lot of extra complexity to your business. This is the way that, for example, my business partner Greg was able to scale up his creative agency to working with 15 to 20 clients in every single month, because everything is very streamlined, right? They are only selling to one audience, they are only selling one specific service, and it really is the same exact processes across all the different clients, instead of, doing something very, very custom and different for every single client. I'm not saying that you cannot be custom in the way you do things for each client. Like, sure, it's not a one size fits all, but you want to kind of productize your service to an extent where you can copy and paste processes to every new client that comes on, so that you can also have the same onboarding experience for every new client. You want to have the same billing systems and so on, because that's the way you can actually handle a lot of clients. Like, sure, you can get away by doing something completely different for 2, 3, even 4 clients. You are going to be very stressed probably, because you're like not even sure what you need to do for each one of them. You're going to be kind of just running all over the place. But if you want something that's actually systemized, something that can run without you in the future, you want to streamline things. So don't fall into the trap of wanting to make that extra $200 or $300 per month from that one client. You will kind of be punished in the fact that your operation will get more and more complex as you take on more clients, and it's going to be also harder for you to teach your team members on how to deliver the service to all the clients. So yeah, in general, like the more operational drag you add, the harder it's going to be for you to scale to those numbers that you really want. So like if you want to do, 20, 30, 40, 50K months, you need to have something that is very streamlined, a service that is very productized and that can get results for multiple clients without you having to adjust all that many things. And mistake number 3 that is also very, very common, and this is something that I did as well in the beginning, is charging low ticket prices. Now, what is low ticket? What is high ticket? It is kind of a loose term, right? But the way I would define it is like anything that's under like 1.5K a month. If we are talking about a retainer, for example, I would consider that low ticket, right? If you are selling a service for $200, $300, $500 a month, that's pretty low ticket. You are going to need to have a lot of clients to make any substantial amount of money. So unless your service is like fully automized to where it doesn't even need much human attention, it's going to be hard to scale. Sure, with something like software, you can have a lower ticket price point and still scale to the moon because each new customer doesn't require more attention really. But with something like creative services, which do require some attention to the client, it's very, very hard to scale if you're charging $200, $300 a month. So you want to charge, in my opinion, at least $1,000, depending on your goals, even more than that. So that is something I highly, highly recommend. Once I started upping my prices and not even really working with anyone unless they paid at least like $2,000 a month, I had a very hard time scaling. So that's something I highly recommend to you guys. If you're not charging monthly service, you can even go higher. Like I work with some clients in the past who I coached one-on-one on how to acquire new customers and stuff like that. And for example, Marco, who I actually did an interview with on this channel, he landed like $50,000 plus deals for video production. So that's, pretty high ticket. It was more of like a one-off collaboration, but you can also do that. It is totally possible. There are people out there who are charging $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per video, while most videographers and editors out there are, stuck charging a few $100s for their services. So it's also about like whose problems you solve with the videos, and basically the bigger companies' problems you can solve, the bigger problems you actually solve, the more you will get paid. The thing with low ticket is that it actually kind of hurts both the client and you as well. So let me just kind of go over how that works. So on your side, you're going to be working with less committed clients, right? The people who pay you only $200, $300, they're not going to be all in on the service because they haven't invested a significant amount of money. So it's not really like something that they really want to make work as well. So you're going to have clients coming to you who will send you files, late, who will not get back to you, to your emails. When you're working with someone and trying to help them, it's a two-way thing. Like you can do your very best, but if the other person doesn't even try and get you over the assets, for example, that you need to be able to get them results, then, it's not going to happen. So that's one thing that I noticed time and time again, that the lower you charge, the less the commitment from your clients, and usually the harder they are to work with as well. They are also usually more demanding the less they pay. If they pay less, they are probably not as successful of a business owner. And the reason why they are not as successful is because of the way they carry themselves and the way they run their business. And so you might meet a lot of people who are like micromanaging everything, who don't let you breathe, who don't trust you. So if those are not the kind of people you want to work with, you might want to leave low ticket in the past. Another problem on your side is obviously you're getting paid less money per client, so you cannot really like spend as much time and attention on each client and making sure they get results and making sure they are happy, nurturing that relationship. You also have to work with more clients, and you're just gonna keep like splitting your attention across more and more places, and the results will go down, client satisfaction goes down. It's really hard to like run a business where both parties are happy if you're charging low prices. You also can't really outsource things, or if you start doing it, your margins are gonna disappear really quickly. So for example, if you're running a creative content agency, like a YouTube agency, for example, you might just hire an editor first. And if you're not charging a lot of money, like you're charging $50 a video or whatever, or $100 a video, just by hiring the editor, at least half of your margin is gonna be already gone, if not more. But then you gotta think about it. Like if you actually want to grow this into a bigger corporation, you're going to have to hire appointment setters, like people who get meetings to you, people who are like developing business for you, right? Business relationships. You might even want to hire like a closer who you will need to give a percentage of every deal closed to. You will probably want to hire also a manager who can manage the editors, the clients, making sure that everything goes out on time, right? You might want to have an assistant in the future. All of these are going to cut into your margin to the point where you might be left with basically nothing if you want to run a business that is not fully reliant on you. So that's why it's important to charge the prices, because it's not only that, like, you know, you not having a lot of margin is one thing, but also you cannot afford the best talent if you aren't charging premium prices for your service. And if you want to be working with the best editors, if you want to be working with a great manager, with great sales development reps, right, with great closers, you will need to pay them handsomely. That's the only way you will attract those people. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And another thing that is, I think, a downside of charging low ticket is you will have a lower self-image of yourself. Like, you will see yourself as a business owner that, you know, can only charge low ticket prices. You won't really have this like high self-esteem and high self-image because you are charging low ticket prices. And when you start going into the higher ticket tier, then you will start seeing yourself as a valuable business owner, as someone who has a premium service. And, you know, also by hiring those better people, building out a really good team, the client results will go up as well. So that's another thing. So it's like, there are quite a lot of negatives and downsides, and these are just a couple that I could think of from the top of my head that come with charging, you know, on the lower end of the market for your services. Now let's look at the client side, like the client's problems that come with charging low ticket. Number one is obviously they are going to be working with worse employees, and they're going to be working with worse team members because you couldn't afford to pay the best of the best. That's going to not only result in more like frustrated conversations and just less excellent, you know, service delivery, but also worse results, which is probably not what the client wants at the end of the day. The client is also going to take your thing less seriously because obviously they had a lower investment into the service. So why would they take it that seriously? Why would they value it that much? And talking about valuing it, they are going to perceive the results that they get lower value as well because they didn't pay a lot of money for it. It's kind of the same thing as if you buy like $100 purse, or you buy, you know, a $3,000 purse from Louis Vuitton or one of these luxury brands, you're going to kind of like naturally love the more expensive thing more, and you're going to perceive it as much better than it might actually be. So just by charging more, you're actually adding more perceived value and perceived prestige to your service, which is kind of like, you know, what we are looking to do here. We are looking to not only increase the actual value of our service, I mean, obviously you want to do that, you want to make sure that your clients get good results, but also you want to increase the perceived value, like how your clients actually feel about working with you, how they feel about buying this service from you. So I hope this video was interesting for you and insightful. These are just 3 of the most common things that I see that people do wrong. Again, charging by the hour, doing extra services and adding a lot of extra stuff on top of client services just to make a few $100 extra and just making their business way more complex than it should be, thus stopping them from scaling, and also charging low ticket prices. So if any of these sound like you, then I think it's worth spending a day on coming up with a game plan on how you could improve this, how you could do it differently, and you might see some great results from that. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one and getting some help on scaling, there is a link in the description. If you're interested, you can check it out and book a one-on-one demo call. If not, no worries at all. I'm gonna keep putting out good value on this YouTube channel as well. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.